Hello and welcome to the first and inaugural episode of Beyond the Game. I'm Will Shoukri, your host, joined today by one of the stars of the Humber men's varsity volleyball team. He is a three-time OCAA champion, a 2023 CCAA silver medalist, a CCAA all-tournament team member, an OCAA all-tournament team member, a 2023 OCAA all-rookie, Humber's 2023 Rookie of the Year, a 2025 OCAA All-Star, and this year placed top 20 in the OCAA in 5 different statistical categories. Michael McAlpine, welcome to the podcast. Was that a long enough introduction, or should I have gone? I could have kept going if you
maybe a little, yeah.
Such an honor to have you here. Congratulations on an unreal season. OCAA champions this year, punched your ticket to the CCAA tournament. Didn't go the way you guys wanted to, but you yourself had a fantastic tournament. I want to start. Talk to me about your experience this year with the Hawks.
Yeah, so it's honestly been a great year. It's nice because the last 2 years have not been like the greatest like regular season. So it's nice this year that we went almost undefeated the whole way. So that was definitely a benefit. But yeah, third provincial championship in 3 years, so can't complain.
Can't complain about 3 for 3, right?
Yeah.
3 years at Humber, 3 provincial championships in your pocket.
Yeah.
Not too bad. Not too bad. I want to start by kind of going through your journey, right? So you're from Belleville, I believe, yeah. Talk to me about your sports experience growing up.
Yeah, so I didn't even play volleyball growing up. I was a hockey player. So my first year of club was actually my grade 12 year. So That's when I started volleyball, like seriously, I guess. And had a good experience playing club volleyball. And then Wayne reached out to me after one of the tournaments and then kept in contact with him and did some practice throughout the summer. And I was like, Humber's a place I want to play at. And sealed the deal and don't regret it at all. Yeah.
3 provincial championships,
yeah.
Not a bad decision.
Not at all, yeah.
Not a bad decision. It's interesting that you just said you didn't start playing volleyball till grade 12.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I'm not an expert. Recruitment for colleges and universities normally starts around grade or
11, grade 10, yeah.
So you were a step late to the game,
yeah.
And it didn't matter.
No, honestly, I was behind the power curve, I guess, for not playing volleyball my whole life, but like the amount of improvements just over 1 year with Wayne and the coaching staff, it's like I played volleyball my whole life, so. No, it helped a lot, being at Humber, I'd say, to get better at volleyball.
So that means that your second season playing volleyball in your life,
yeah,
you were the Rookie of the Year,
yeah,
the Humber Hawks.
Yes.
It's not too bad.
Yeah,
it's not
can't complain.
Talk to me about how your start in hockey helped the transition to volleyball.
Yeah, so I'd say if you play hockey, I feel like you can play any sport, so that helps a lot. There's so many different aspects of hockey that can help with any other sport. So I'd say that definitely helped the volleyball aspect. So yeah.
How is the teammanship of those two sports differently? Because obviously the bench in volleyball has a significantly different role to your lines in hockey. Talk to me about what it's like in those locker rooms and the differences.
I would say it's a little bit different. I guess the number of guys, there's more guys on the hockey team than the volleyball team, but I would say it's pretty similar vibes in a way. All the guys are super close to each other, so that's kind of cool. But
playing your role is
exactly.
Important,
yeah,
right?
Definitely different roles from hockey and volleyball. But
well, we'll move on a little bit. Obviously, you spent 3 years at Humber now, 3 provincial championships, Rookie of the Year. You've got a long list of accolades. Yep. Talk to me about a couple of the biggest moments, right? And I want you to touch on some of those team moments, because obviously there have been some huge wins.
Yeah.
But I'd also love to hear about a couple of really big individual accomplishments.
Yeah, for sure. So I'd say, honestly, my very first year, when we made it to the national semifinal, I got player of the game over that game. Yeah. And I would say that's my personal biggest accomplishment, just because that was the first time that we made it to the national final in a long time. So I was pretty pumped about that. So I'd say that's my biggest personal accomplishment. But I would say as a team, honestly, this nationals, our quarterfinal win, we played against the number 1 team of the country, pretty much. So I'd say that was a pretty big upset for us, to beat them. So I'd say that's a biggest team one, but end up not winning nationals that year. But yeah, that very first game was pretty special though.
You can't always have it all, eh?
Exactly. Yeah.
Even at Humber, we can't just win.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. Brian Lepp would disagree, for the record. But so this season, you talked about how it was a little bit special. And one of the reasons for that, I assume, is because the whole starting six is kind of moving on, right? Those core group of guys who you've been with the last 2 years, they're all taking the next step.
Yep.
I know you're thinking about a couple of next steps. What could it look like for you?
Yeah, so as of right now, I'm planning to return to Humber.
Yeah.
But I have a few offers to go somewhere else. But in my heart, like Humber is like
Where is home right now.
Exactly. That's where I want to be. But yeah, it's special just because like I know it's the last year with like the starting core. So we all knew it was like the last year to like give it all we got. So we won the provincial, couldn't win the national, but yeah, no, it's special though being last year with all those guys.
Not too bad for the last day.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, can't complain.
Can't complain. So we've talked a little about the on-the-court play. We've talked a little about on-the-ice play here. Actually, what position did you play in hockey?
I played right wing and defense, a little bit of both.
Yeah. Right. You could skate backwards, so they threw you on a D sometimes.
Yeah.
I got you. I want to talk about your life outside the game a little bit. So what program are you a part of in Humber?
Yeah, so I'm in my third year of the construction engineering program. Yeah, I've been liking that a lot. I'm actually with a few varsity guys on that with the program, so it makes my life a little bit easier. I can like ask for notes and stuff. So yeah, no, I've been liking it a lot. It's a good program. I'm happy I picked that one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is there something that drew you to that over other programs?
Yeah, so I've been around the construction field most of my life. Like growing up, I used to always like every summer I work construction. Like, yeah, so I'd say it helped like a certain level of like comfort like taking this program. So yeah, it's just something that I've been around my whole life. So thought why not take it?
Why not? Yeah, a close friend of mine actually graduated from that program. Not to hype up Humber too much, but he got a job right away.
Yeah.
Maybe we are hyping up Humber here. You never know. So our next segment is called a quick fire round.
All right.
Okay. Written for us by our wonderful producers here at BRTV. So I'm going to go through a couple of really, really tough questions. Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're going to really have to think. These are really tough. What's your pregame snack?
Pre-game snack, I'd say I always get the same meal before every game. I go to Fortino's and get their sandwich, and I get 2 vitamin waters. That's what I get before every game since my first year, and I've stuck to that ever since.
Fortino's is too expensive.
I agree, but it's still worth it. They used to play well, so.
But ritual is more important.
Yeah, exactly.
What's your dream vacation spot?
During vacation, my family's been a big, like, we used to always go on cruises, like, in high school, so I'd say that's, like, my favorite vacation, I would say. So going on a sort of cruise in, like, the Dominican, I'd say. Yeah.
There you go. Friend of mine's going on an Alaskan cruise in about a week.
That's fun, yeah.
Not too bad. Not too bad. I know the answer to this question, but I think we'll answer it anyway.
Yeah.
If you were not playing volleyball, what sport would you be playing, Mike?
Obviously hockey, yeah.
And this one I really wanted to ask.
Yeah.
I'm going through more than a couple of these, and these are hard-hitting questions.
Yeah.
This is important journalism. What is the pregame song for the Humber Hawks? Or is there a couple?
There's a couple. I'd say it's usually Paul that has the aux in the team.
Yeah,
So
Mr. Matt.
He plays. Honestly, Big X the Plug is probably one of the main ones. Drake, obviously, Lil Baby. But, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm coming up with this one on the spot.
Okay.
The Humber volleyball team unveiled some new jerseys this year. Those Skyline
The
jerseys.
city jerseys.
What do you guys think about those? Like,
They're
what was the
pretty-
first reaction when they revealed them to you? Because I have to assume they did it in a bit of a dramatic fashion.
Yeah, so this was after, I want to say we went to Nipissing for a tournament. It was after that tournament, Wayne brought us onto the team room like, hey guys, what are your thoughts on doing city jerseys? We were all like jumped on it, like we need to do this.
Yeah.
And then we kind of customized, kind of add our own details to all the jerseys.
So you guys got to be a part of that creation experience.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, no, it's pretty sick. And they turned out awesome.
Yeah, they did turn out awesome.
No, like,
Undeniably awesome.
yeah. And like no other team in the league has like anything remotely that cool, I would say. So no, we're pretty lucky to have that. Yeah.
If you haven't figured out by now that Humber cares about athletics, we're the only team in the OCAA with a third jersey.
Yeah. Well, we actually have 4, but we don't wear one of them. But
Gosh, 4 jerseys.
yeah,
I didn't do enough research, clearly. It's unfortunate. Now, you mentioned Wayne Wilkins a couple of times.
Yes.
And he has been at Humber
40 plus years. Yeah.
for longer than both of us have been alive.
Yeah.
What is the best piece of advice you've gotten from him? Because originally I was going to ask throughout your career, but this is probably the longest standing coach that you've had, right? He's got more experience than any of your other coaches. What's been his biggest piece of wisdom?
Honestly, he's been like the best motivational coach I've ever had by far. Like
An energy guy.
Yeah, and like any sort of like if he sees I'm struggling, like he'll come right up to me and give me like a huge pep talk, and like I'm ready to go.
Gotcha.
I would say one moment that stuck out to me was my first year when we lost in the national final, and he was like, "Just remember this kind of pain." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right, and just make sure you come back here again and win." So that's kind of been an ongoing journey. It hasn't worked out the last 2 years, but still a goal of mine to win that national championship.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The CCAA is tougher competition than the
100%.
OCAA.
Doesn't even compare it.
The Alberta schools, some of the Quebec schools.
Yeah, it's very tough when
serious basketball.
Yeah.
So Wayne Wilkins, he's an empathetic coach.
Yeah.
He's always looking for how his players are feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, and he can see that as well. Like he can like just like visibly see if
He knows you guys.
Yeah, he knows us very well. Yeah.
Right. And that personal experience from a coaching aspect is huge.
Yeah. 100%.
Fantastic. Now, we talked about a pregame snack, and I mentioned, you mentioned the Fortinas ritual. Are there any other rituals that you have before a big game specifically, or even just a game in general?
I'd say I always go to our athletic therapy center, and I always get like hot packs all over my body just to feel loose and warm. I'd say obviously stretch a little bit before I do my own exercises, and then usually check out my headphones, play a few country songs, and then I'm ready to go.
Who are the country artists?
I'd say Morgan Wallen, Zach Bryan. I'd say those are my main 2. Honestly, it just gets me in a chill vibe, like low stress instead of it's nice.
No heavy metal.
That's not for me, but for the rest of the guys who like that. But for when I just want to concentrate,
you guys have a couple of Slipknot fans in the locker room. The heavy metal guys.
Alec, I would say, is the main one. Alec likes some funky music, so whenever he gets
any guy with arms that big,
exactly. When he gets the aux, I want to kind of leave. So, yeah.
Well, you mentioned Alec Loney just now. I want to talk about your teammates a little because I have to assume that the best part of your experience at Humber the last 3 years has been those guys
100%.
in the locker room, right? Talk to me about maybe the player who was the biggest mentor for you in your rookie season, because obviously you had an unreal rookie season.
Yeah.
So talk to me firstly about who that mentor was when you first came to.
I would say my biggest mentor / like role model was Jake Gomes. He was the 5th-year captain on our team my first year. And honestly, like when you're on the court, then there's like a certain level of comfort at all times.
One of the Humber greats for the record.
Yeah. So like being around him just helped me like calm down all the time. Like it just made my life like way easier. So I would say he's like my main role model I had, and like just always had me in the right path no matter what.
Sweet. Yeah. I do believe that Josh Nicholson actually broke one of his records this year.
No way. Which one was that?
I wish that I could remember.
Probably
I
Dave.
really do. I think it was.
Yeah.
Humber.
Yeah.
Lots of good setters.
100%. Yeah. I've been blessed throughout my career. Josh Nicholson, Jake Gomes, so I can't complain. Sadly, they're both gone now.
It's 2 of the best setters that the OCAA has ever in the last 10 years, right?
Yeah. No, I've been blessed. It makes my life a lot easier doing good sets.
And of course, look at the women's side as well. Kennedy Williscroft, OCAA Player of the Year.
CCAA Player of the Year. She won both.
She did win both. Yeah.
No, big. Humber's big on setters.
Right.
Yeah.
And then who are maybe a couple of guys on the team right now who you're closest with?
I'd say my main like glue guys are Brock and Jake. I would hang out with them the most. Like they're the guys I'm the closest with. I'll say. Yeah.
Sweet. So we talked a bit about the coaching, a little bit about your teammates and what you do off of the court. I want to go back to the coaching because you mentioned Wayne Wilkins. Obviously, the experience is unbelievable. Mm-hmm. What is the training with him like? What is that training regimen with him?
Yeah, so every summer we have a team workout program.
Okay.
So we're all pretty strict about it, and like everyone can check like the numbers. So I guess like
You're doing that remotely or from?
yeah, there's both. So like people like we have Brazilians in our team that go back to Brazil, so you can do it remotely and at Humber. Like for the guys that are local, they just stay at Humber. But it's nice. Like everyone can like hold each other accountable, kind of thing, just because like you can see like your progress on the app itself. So yeah, Wayne's pretty strict about that. So yeah.
Being in the gym is extremely important.
Yeah, it's a must. Like even like,
and it does show. It does show.
100%. But like Wayne's strict about that. Like if you don't work out, like you don't play. Like that's his motto. So it's like we're all pretty strict about that, and that's probably some of the reasons why we always win as well. So
It probably is. I would say that Humber physically dominates.
100%. Yeah, you can tell as well. Like big rallies, like we're always winning. Yeah, so like
absolutely.
So, like we put the extra effort in the gym.
And then the gas tank is big.
Yeah, exactly. You don't slow
Your
down.
opponents are normally more tired than you are.
Yeah.
And you play much shorter games.
Yeah.
The majority of your opponents.
Yeah,
Right?
no, it's nice.
Most of your matches end in 3 sets.
Yeah, no, it's definitely nice. But even if it goes to fifth, we feel like we're in control still. So
You don't see those extra points too often.
yeah,
Good running
exactly.
For Humber.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, for the record, as someone who works for Humber Sports Network, we could use another couple of sets, Mike. Come on. You're costing us hours out here.
It does help the stat category having a few hundred sets.
Yeah,
on us, but yeah,
It does help.
No, it's nice having the 5-set games and having like 20 kills. So yeah, no, getting them done in 3 is a lot easier though.
I think we're going to come back to coaches in a second, but I want to pivot to what you did on the court this year, okay? So we talked about how you were the rookie of the year in your first year, and then in your second year, you took steps, right? But you also played a bit of a different role,
Yeah.
right? And then in this third year, you kind of took that role from first year and you expanded on it, right? You were really a go-to guy all season. And I don't know if you know this, but you set career highs in every single offensive and defensive category.
I didn't even know that, to be honest.
Every single category you set a career high in this year, except for sets played.
Okay,
And that
That's
should say
good
something.
thing. That's a good
That
thing.
should
Yeah.
say something, exactly, right? A career high in every offensive and defensive category. I started writing them individually, and then I realized that it was all of them.
that's sick. I didn't even know that.
I'm proud of
Yeah,
that. I'm
yeah.
glad you didn't know that
Yeah.
now. Undeniably an unbelievable year. How did it feel? Because I know you could feel it.
Yeah, well, even coming back to the second year, I'd say I did take a step back. Like, so my first year had the starting role,
Yeah.
and then second year I took a step back and I kind of shared time. But in the end, I lost my position.
Right.
And then that summer I was like, all right, this is not happening again. I need my spot back. So worked out really hard, and then turns out I had a breakout year again in my third year. So all the hard work paid off. So I'm pretty happy about it. Yeah.
Now, if you don't mind, I wouldn't actually mind touching on how you kind of took that step back in the second year. Because you knew that you had the goods.
Yeah.
Right? 2023 Rookie of the Year, right? You knew that you deserved to be there.
Yeah.
How did that accolade help you with your mental toughness when you were losing that starting spot, right? Did you go back to that Rookie of the Year award and kind of go, no, I can do this. I am a starter on this team.
Yeah, you kind of think about, like, in a sense, you want to be like, forget about that year, focus on this year. But it is hard at some points where, like, I won Rookie of the Year and now I'm not playing. So it definitely does play kind of a mental role, I would say. But
Double-edged sword.
yeah, but
right.
yeah, you want to get over it. Like, even, like, everyone compares my first year, like, oh, you set the bar so high, so it's always higher. Like, higher standard, I guess. But I felt like I hit that higher standard this year, especially. So, yeah.
And now maybe you can also say, you had the true pro experience if you had a sophomore slump.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I experienced both worlds, like coming off the bench and starting. So and honestly, it's for the best as well, because even like being a leadership role this year, like I know both sides of the game.
I know how it feels to be sitting.
Exactly, and like even the first two guys, I like find it tough to not start. Like they come up to me like, "How did you take it?" And I'm like, "It's just part of the game. Like your time's got to come. Like you just got to stay patient with it." So honestly, like it helped me out a lot not playing that year. So yeah, took it as a positive.
I had a bit of a hunch, so I'm glad that we came through there.
Yeah.
But I figured that it might have been kind of that double-edged sword where it's like, I won this award. I've got this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm a good volleyball.
Yeah, like I know I'm good, but
Exactly.
yeah.
So really interesting. Thank you. Once you realized that this year you had it, right? Because you were consistent this year, right? And certainly there was growth throughout the year, but you came out of the gates strong, right? You weren't stumbling out of the gates. Was it a sense of relief when you came onto the court this year and immediately just started killing it?
Yeah, I'd say there's a certain level of comfort as well. Like I'm not new to the starting, so it was a little bit like
a homecoming.
Exactly. Like having that first game starting back, like it was nice. Felt like a certain level of comfort. It was definitely nice starting again. So, but yeah, I would say like honestly, like I stepped back right into it when got the roll back. So yeah,
Felt like you'd never left.
no, exactly. Yeah, no, it felt good.
No one would have guessed you'd ever left either.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm gonna keep the conversation on the court right now, because the way that you play the game, you're a true middle, right? Whereas you don't necessarily have a weakness on the court, right? You're a legitimate serviceman, right? You're great along the net defensively, right? Obviously, you don't get as many opportunities to rack up those digs or assists as much. But if we're looking at blocks, kills, and service aces, like there's no weakness there.
Yeah. Well, you even brought up, you said middle. I actually started as a middle at Humber.
Okay.
I would say first 3, I want to say, preseason games, I started as middle, and then when it was like, you're left-handed, you don't belong in the middle. And then flip positions, you go to the right side, and then kind of never look back.
Okay.
So I've been there ever since. But
So that was a big deal.
yeah,
That position switch unlocked a lot for you.
100%. But it was like, it's very different being a middle compared to a right side, because you don't even play defense as the middle. But yeah, no, I don't regret anything. I'm happy that I changed positions for sure. I think it still says middle on my roster photo.
It probably does.
Yeah, so how do you get that changed?
Yeah, it probably does. That's probably where we got it.
Yeah.
That is probably where we got. I also work as the journalist, the varsity journalist for Humber, right? So sometimes things are not up.
Yeah,
This is true. But now, I want to be clear. I never played high-level volleyball. I've got soft forearms.
Yeah.
I've got soft forearms. That was never for me. But you dominate defensively and offensively, right? Talk to me about the glory of those two positions, right? Because it's you and Alec up at the front, the twin towers of Humber. But then also offensively, you're a menace.
Honestly,
What feels better?
like there's nothing better in volleyball than having a great big block or a dig.
Right.
I would say that
It's better than the kill.
100% in my opinion. Like having a big block, I'd say that like even changed the momentum of a game just like that. Like having a kill is just like, yeah, it's cool, but like getting a big block, I'd say that's like the main like volleyball like changer of momentum, I'd say. So I'd say a big dig or big block is like my 2 favorite things to get in volleyball.
And then the fact that blocks often come through teamwork, right? Like it's you and Alec going up there. Does that add another layer to the excitement? Or you come down, it's like, we did that.
Alec and I have like the best blocking connection I've ever had with like.
You've got the best blocking connection in the OCAA. I can tell you that for a fact.
I would agree, but yeah, he's been a middle I've clicked with this year for sure because he's new to the starting role as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we clicked immediately when we were on the court together, and I'm assuming teams don't like going against us. So
No, they do not like going against you. I can confirm.
Yeah.
The broadcast booth, we're pretty close to the opposing bench.
yeah,
I can tell you that you guys aren't the most popular people in the OCAA. I can tell you that. Maybe it hurts your heart, but nobody likes you.
no,
Nobody likes
that's a
you.
good thing though. Yeah, I'm happy to be the bad guy. Yeah.
So it was a super successful season for you individually and the team as a whole. I understand that you didn't get the national championship you were looking for, right? Did it still feel like the job got done?
Honestly, I would say just because I won provincials so many times, I feel like the standard is national, just exactly because we're used to always winning provincials kind of thing. But yeah, it's tough. Like even the team that we lost to, they ended up winning nationals.
Yes.
And in our opinion, like we knew we could have beat the other team in the national, the other team in the national final. But like we were like, it's either us or Red Deer winning this in that semifinal. But
Absolutely.
fell up short. But we're nowhere right there every year, so it's just a matter of time we win. So yeah.
Is the fact that you guys belong there, competing against the best of the best, does that help it a little? Like, yes, Red Deer was the best team in the country, arguably all season long. They didn't beat you easily.
No. It was 28, 26, 25, 23. So, like, every set was really close.
Exactly.
But, yeah, going back to your point, like, every team there, like, it's new teams every year, I'd say.
Except for you guys.
Exactly. So we're there every year kind of thing. So it's nice that we have a certain level of, like, comfort at nationals.
Right.
I'd say that helps us winning because, like, against the teams that, like, are not there often, like, it's the first time. So it definitely helps us being there, like, certain familiarities. Right. Oh, I said that wrong.
Familiarity is the right word for the record.
Yeah.
You did not say that wrong.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
But the vibe, it wasn't that of disappointment. Not quite.
I wouldn't say disappointment. Like, we played so hard in the game.
And so well.
Exactly.
Right?
The game could have went either way. So, like, everyone held their heads high after the game. Like, no, it was a tough battle.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you'd almost look at that and you don't say that Humber lost that game.
Exactly.
Say that Red Deer won that game.
Yeah.
Right? And as a player, there's a huge difference there.
Yeah.
Now, I never played as high level anything as you did, but I can tell you it always felt better when it didn't feel like we're the ones who lost.
Exactly. You know, it made losing a little bit easier, I guess.
At least they earned it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Right. Now, I think that we can probably put a pause on the quick fire round because it's gotten a little slower over the last couple of questions anyway, which I appreciate. Thank you for the thoughtfulness. But I think we'll start wrapping up for you soonish. I won't keep you for too much longer. But I want to still kind of go back to the reflection aspect of this. And I know that's where we've been for a little while, but at the end of the day, sports are an emotional thing. Sports are a nostalgic thing. How many competitive tournaments did you play in growing up in your hockey career?
Yeah, so honestly, I've been blessed with being always on a good team.
Okay.
So playing hockey, I've, like, every year I made it to, like, it's called OMHA finals. Every year I've kind of made it to that final. So I'd say that kind of helps me in, like, big games, like, certain level of comfort. Like, I've been here 1,000 times.
You know the smell of success.
Nothing different. And fun fact, I've actually never lost a provincial championship in volleyball. So in club I won, and last 3 years I've won. So
That's crazy.
Undefeated.
Do you quit while you're ahead, or do you keep trucking for it?
Yeah, it's an awkward scenario right now. Like, do I keep on winning or do I stop? Like, yeah.
Can you stop?
Yeah, exactly.
Can you stop winning?
I hope not. It's a good feeling winning. Yeah, it never gets old.
I think Humber wouldn't mind either.
Yeah.
Okay, so you played in a bunch of tournaments,
Yeah.
high-level tournaments growing up. Winning never gets old.
Yeah.
Winning never gets old. So I want to wrap this up by talking about your future a little bit, because obviously you've got one more year left of eligibility at Humber.
Yep.
You'd love to come back, but after that next year of eligibility, the door can open in a couple of different directions for volleyball, right?
Yeah, so
Talk to me about what next steps after college can look like for volleyball players.
So after I actually have 2 more years left. There's now 5
actually
years.
5,
Yeah. So after either 1 or 2 more years, I think I'm looking to go play pro.
Okay.
And a few former athletes right now are playing pro from my Humber team last year. So, and they're all loving it. So I think that's gonna be my future.
Okay. And that's more than doable.
Yeah, I hope.
Fantastic.
I'm connecting with a few agents right now, so hopefully that's a plan in the future to go pro, and hopefully I can do that for a few years. Yeah.
All right.
But I'd like to play volleyball as long as I possibly can. So.
And those pro leagues, you can make a career out of this.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Fantastic.
No, I'm looking forward to that though. That's gonna be the next step, I guess, in life.
And most of those major leagues would be in Europe?
Yeah, Europe. That's my end goal to play in Europe.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for joining us in this inaugural episode of Beyond the Game. I hope that these rapid-fire questions weren't too hard.
No, you weren't.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. Once again, this was the first episode of Beyond the Game. Please join us next week as we try to get, once again, another varsity player. I've been Will Shoukri. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a good day.